fucking platinum yet. Oh, good morning, guys. I think I'm making lunch, but before I get to I'm here, but that's what. Right here. I've never been down this street. Okay. Wait, this dude is 4 orders. I didn't fucking get rid of fucking 4 in a row, man. Come on. I most likely would not do that. So please, help a brother out. Test, 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 motherfucker, test, 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 motherfucker, test, 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 motherfucker, test. Alright. Listen to Hasanabe.
Connery's Pay is literally texted me the Trump deep throat thing. The 2024 presidential campaign in its last 3 days now, both major candidates making final blitzes in battleground states this weekend. We have team coverage this morning. Here's your senior White House correspondent. I don't know if I'm crazy, but like one other live space analysis that I will look into is that like Nate Silver is now talking about the poll herding, and I think that that's a really interesting take from the guy who
consistently on the Trump is going to definitely win train, looking at his averages, now leveraging into the Kamala direction. Now, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not even faulting people for saying so that Donald Trump is definitely going to win, okay? The polls are very close, and I have always explained to you that Kamala's chances got worse and worse over the course of the past couple of months.
Yes.
The more you saw of her, the more you saw, like, what she wanted to communicate, and the more she pumped her campaign policies, the more Donald Trump seemingly did better in the polls. That is a fact. Kamala Harris has run an objectively bad campaign. That is a fact. Okay?
Yeah.
So, having said that, I think that Nate Silver also sees what everyone else is seeing and is trying to at least hedge his bets in the opposite direction. A lot of people also forget that as our media cycle and attention cycle gets shorter and shorter, as our media cycle and our attention cycle gets shorter and shorter, the maximum impact is happening right now, literally in these last couple of days. This last week is a very impactful week. I am going, I might be a little overboard by saying this, but like this week's Trash Island line was legitimately impactful. This is when people are fucking signing up. This is when people are paying attention. When they're like, oh, there's an election going on. Let's take a look. Damn. He said Puerto Rico's a trash island? What the fuck? And I think, is there a person voting on it? He's really voting.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. you not understand it? You just did? Yes, dude, I did. It's obviously not to the same standard as the N-word. Shut the f*** up, clip it, ship it, post it everywhere you want. Okay? Most people, especially young people, might use it, but when the president himself is saying it, that's an entirely different thing. Okay? Do you understand? I have no idea why it's even considered a word you can't say. It's the euphemism treadmill. Originally, idiot was the unacceptable word. So people started using the R word as a substitute. Now the R word is also unacceptable, but idiot is back in fashion. And it is what it is. People always will seek out a new pejorative. People will always seek out a new pejorative. That's just a normal thing. That's just how normal communication works. I use a litany of different ableist language, in general, like psychotic, crazy, you know, things like that, synonyms. I am not pro R-word. Why are we pro R-word now? No, dude, I'm not. Not only am I not pro R-word, I'm saying that, like, it's insane for a presidential candidate to come out. Oh my God. I am not. I won't say it then. Simple. Okay, I'm gonna start banning people. All right. They've been calling you autistic for the past month, but they're gonna be mad you say the R word. Yeah, I know, it's fine. I mean, I'm also incredibly neurodivergent myself, as you guys can know, but that's besides the point. It doesn't matter. Hassan, you're digging yourself into a hole. I'm not. The point is, you can't do this. And you certainly cannot do this as the president. You can't even do this, in my opinion, when the standards are different for someone who is technically a progressive content creator, right? Like, I'm certain that most Twitch streamers say it still. They let it fly, like, with regular frequency, okay? And even in a relatively contextually appropriate manner, it's still an unacceptable thing to say because the standards are different for a public figure, okay? No hate, I don't care that much, but it's not like you had to say it to make your point. I think that's what some people are mad about. Yeah, I don't care. You can be mad about it all day, every day. Use it. Suck my dick. Okay, let's continue. You got people on TikTok using acoustic and restart it. They'll be fine. If anything, more people will respect you for saying the full word is on the TikTok buzzword. Yeah, like a lot of people look for like alternatives, but that is besides the point. Okay? My point is, this is extremely online. You're hyper online. When you're the president and you think that this is an appropriate thing to say, you're hyper online. It plays into the larger problem. The larger problem with the Trump campaign. Okay? That is the point I was trying to make. If they do 20 subs. Kilo Grips, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Benign Burger, thank you for the 20 gift subs. Now, having said that, of course, people use the word in private or in normal conversation everywhere outside of spaces like my own community. That even those people who use the word would find it appropriate for the president to say it. The standards are different. Anyway, I don't think his voters care, unfortunately. No, but there are people who literally, oh God, there are people who don't like Trump. They like the policies, but they can't stand how fucking annoying it is. Okay? Do you get it? Like, they can't stand how unprofessional, how crass, how rude he is. And for those people, this kind of thing, like Trump's utilization, or Trump even thinking that it would be a fantastic idea to use the R word on a public stage against Joe Biden, who ironically is experiencing like genuine mental decline, so I think it even is worse, right? Like, that makes it even worse. It's like saying that to someone with Down syndrome at that point. It's like, you are a vicious, monstrous piece of shit. Like, this was something that was a big deal in the debate, right? It was something that was a big deal in the debate. Like, Trump could not come across as though he was too aggressive towards Joe Biden, because then he would look like he was badgering an old man, kicking an old man while the old man is down. This is the type of stuff that, like, normies, no, he didn't actually use it. He said he wanted to use it. He didn't actually use it in public. That would have been crazy if he did. Not equipped to talk about this. Please move on from this. Yikes. Not equipped to talk about this on a serious level. Anyway, he also called Kamala R-worded. A frustrated Trump lashes out behind closed doors. Oh yeah, this was he's using gamer words, dude. He's going nutty. Isn't Trump on a mental decline as well? Yes, he is, for sure. And I'm actually gonna get to that. That's like one of the main stories that I wanted to talk about today. Rick Scott was clearly panicking during the rally. All these male right-wing peers don't
fucker. That's right. I am platinum. Fucker.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained to her face.
Harris reacting with harsh criticism. This must be disqualified. Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violent rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president. Trump doesn't need to make his rhetoric.
Yeah, so the chicken hawk stuff is silly. It's like liberal shit. Like he very clearly was. I mean, he was invoking the firing squad analogy. Certainly would said like 9 barrels pointed at her, but like he absolutely was doing the classic chicken hawk shit. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're not old enough to remember, but back when people were actually anti-war in the Democratic Party, we used to say this about the Cheneys in general. We used to say this about George W. Bush. We used to say this about all politicians. This was a common trope in the anti-war movement in the Vietnam era. This is what Fortunate Son is literally about. Okay? When you hear that that CCR song is directly about how rich people don't go to war, senators don't go to war, senators' children don't go to war. It's the poor people
Yep.
that are drafted to go die in a war. Okay? That is. That is the whole point. Someone reported Trump to the FBI for that statement. Yeah, it's funny because like obviously Elon Musk has said like incredibly violent shit, like way more violent shit than that. Trump has said way more directly violent things than that, made more violent promises, right? In terms of like sinking the military on his enemies, the enemy from within. These are actually violent statements. Him saying that like give a gun to Liz Cheney and have her sit in front of 9 barrels and let's see how she likes it is just him basically invoking the age-old adage that these people would have a different attitude if their lives were actually on the line. They would not be advocating them to change their minds. I cannot believe I'm like under no circumstances you have to hand it to fucking Glenn Greenwald, but in this situation, it is allowing, dangerously allowing an opportunity for Donald Trump to turn around and present himself as anti-war again and again and again. Every single time this kind of shit plays in mainstream media, Fox News and all the fucking right-wing commentators can turn around and disingenuously present themselves as anti-war, as Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are so pro-war. They're so, they're so pro-endless wars. The reality of the matter is, Trump is also pro-endless wars. There is a uniparty approach to war, okay? But if one party is not saying anything, about the endless wars, or maybe even, dare I say, defending the concept of endless wars, and the other party, on the other hand, is at least presenting themselves as anti-war, this gives them an opportunity, this gives them an advantage over the other party, because Americans broadly consider themselves to be anti-war, okay? While both parties are pro-war and pro-genocide, the obviously pro-war and pro-genocide party, which is the Republican Party as well, at least historically, is now, at the very least, trying to present themselves as people that want to end the wars. And they do it in a way that actually, is, I think, great for the hogs to comprehend. Peace through strength, okay? They present strength, and they say, I'm gonna be dominant, I'm gonna be crazy, I'm gonna fucking, light the oil refineries on fire or whatever, the Iranian nuclear facilities on fire, in an effort to stop them. Now, we, who understand what that means, who understand the track record of the Republican Party, look at that and go, oh my God, that is an escalation. But most dummies look at that and go, well, Trump, no new wars under his administration is the way they analyze the situation. They don't think about the Abraham Accords. They don't think about the Iran denuclearization agreement. And the Democrats have not communicated that there is a difference there between them and the Republican Party. And this allows them to basically fucking run the table on this shit. I understand the whole peaceful dove stuff, but is he really doing effective messaging in that regard? He hasn't so far because he's flubbed it too many times. Having said that, this is when people are paying the most attention. You don't want this to be in the media cycle. You don't want this like, oh, Democrats are saying like he wanted to fucking line up Liz Cheney and kill her, and then you're in defense of Liz Cheney while Donald Trump has 30 points on you on Israel-Palestine. You don't want that, okay? You do not want that. That is a terrible place to be in. This is what happened in 2016. This is how Donald Trump was able to successfully make himself seem like a moderate and an anti-war peaceful dove candidate against Hillary Clinton, okay? This is how you get a lot of people who are, who fancy themselves to be anti-war to like falsely believe that the side that is at least communicating an anti-war message, they falsely start believing the side that's at least communicating an anti-war message into being actually anti-war when they are not anti-war. Make no mistake. It is a very frustrating thing to watch unfold, and I don't know how many times I have to explain how dangerous this is. So if reps lie, why can't Kamala at least lie? Well, you have just arrived at my, what I've been saying, non-fucking stop. Goes to Milwaukee to insult Giannis. If he goes to Pennsylvania and says Joe Flacco was better than Ben Roethlisberger, and then goes to North Carolina and does a rally with Coach K, I'm going to assume he's trying to throw this thing.
Your team is very good. I would say the Greek is a seriously good player. Do you agree? And tell me, who has more Greek in him? The Greek or me? Not the same, right?
Oh my God, that's insane. Bro, that's a major point of contention, dude. That is unimaginably racist, dude. Oh my God. The Bucks are ass is the worst part. Brother, it doesn't matter. Bro, I don't get it. Giannis is, calling him the Greek and not the Greek freak is also funny. Yeah. So, okay. Giannis, okay. I'm gonna his last name. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the I say it correctly, also known as the Greek Freak, okay, is a Milwaukee Bucks power forward, okay? And he is the son of immigrants from Nigeria, okay? And his father was a soccer player, his mother was a high jumper in Nigeria. 3 years earlier, they had moved from Lagos, leaving their firstborn son, Francis, under the care of his grandparents. Adetokunbo grew up in the Athens neighborhood of Sepolia in a primarily Nigerian household. His parents, as immigrants, worked without permits, could not easily find work, so Giannis and his older brother, Thanasis, helped by hawking watches, handbags, and sunglasses in the streets. In 2007, Adetokunbo started playing basketball. Antetokounmpo. Okay, Greek Freak. So he has an incredible story of perseverance through tremendous hardships. But the fact that he is like saying, "Thank God I was warned that you cover political and sensitive subjects." Yeah, you got it. Don't worry. So you have been saying it correctly. Okay, thank you. So the fact that like he is questioning his like Greek background, that is like been a point of controversy because he didn't even immediately gain his Greek citizenship. Look, they were born in Greece. They did not automatically receive a Greek citizenship as Greek nationality law follows just sanguinis. Growing up, he sometimes felt like an outsider to both the Greek and Nigerian communities in Athens due to his parents' heritage and different skin color in the former, and due to the lack of understanding of the Yoruba or Igbo languages in the latter. For the first 18 years of his life, Adetokunbo could not travel outside the country and was effectively stateless, having no papers from Greece or Nigeria. He was eventually issued Greek citizenship on May 9th, 2013, less than 2 months before the NBA draft. After gaining Greek citizenship, his official surname became the Greek transcription of Adetokunbo, which was then transliterated letter for letter and officially spelled in his Greek passport as Antetokounmpo. Giannis is a modern Greek variant of Giannis John. Because many NBA fans could not pronounce his name, he quickly became known as the Greek Freak. He also now holds a Nigerian citizenship, having received his Nigerian passport in 2015, and such possesses dual citizenship. He has stated that he feels both Greek and Nigerian, and that he embraces his both Greek and as well as African Nigerian identity. So, do not bring up the fact that he is not a Turkish freak. I know his parents should have come to Turkey. They would have immediately gotten citizenship, and he wouldn't have had to ball super hard to.
Stay here.
Be able to achieve that status, okay? I don't want to get into it. It's a major L for the Turkish government. The Turkish government should offer a welcoming hand to every migrant. Yeah, I think that they were literally in Turkey and they were I don't know if that's like a fucking fake Greek lie made up or if they actually were driven out of Turkey. Don't be sad, bro. You got Enes Kanter. Yeah, he sucks. He is so fake for this, not because it's subtly racist, but we are ass right now. This is not fair to Giannis, as we have had Connaughton playing terrorist basketball and Doc Rivers. They were actually drove out of Turkey before he was born. That seems like it's Greek propaganda. I'm just gonna say it. But the point is, Trump claiming that he's just as Greek as Giannis is just a not so subtle white supremacist dog whistle. Do you understand? Like, he just straight up talking about a dude who has had tremendous hardships, specifically because he was considered literally stateless in Greece, okay, for most of his fucking life. To say that he is not real, he's not a true Greek, and that like, oh, I might not be as Greek as he is, that is incredibly fucking racist. Yeah, thank God we have Schengen. Schengen, my goat. So yeah, it is a truly racist remark to question the nationality status of a Nigerian immigrant because they are black and because they're Nigerian. Like, you would never say that about a white person from the Balkans that moved to Greece or some shit. That would not happen. No one would ever point to that. Okay? Absolutely not. And it's exactly the same kind of racist sentiment that is the underpinning of his white nativist anti-immigrant policies anyway. So it's shocking that he would say that. It's not shocking that people in that audience would laugh at that, but it is interesting to think that would be appropriate to say in Milwaukee of all places.
In these final days, Vice President Harris is stressing that Donald Trump's language is becoming more extreme, and we're learning new details about Harris's plans the day before the election. Her campaign is planning to hold rallies in all 7 battlegrounds, tying them together in a national live stream. Gio?
All right, Selena, thank you so much.
How the fuck are you supposed to do that?
Right where that young lady is, John is sitting there, and I called him. I said, "Could you come back?" And he comes backstage.
Here's the dick sucking moment. My asexual, biromantic, autistic queen. He's just queening, okay? He's doing the damn thing. I need you to understand, okay? A lot of you do not understand the autistic, aromantic, bisexual swag that Donald Trump has. He is stimming here, okay? You're gonna watch a man stim, and I don't want you to be fucking ableist, all right? I gotta pay.
You gotta be kidding. Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage? I don't mind if they want to come up a little forward or something, but it's a pretty stupid situation, but that's okay. I get so angry. I'm up here seething. I'm seething. I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic. I'm blowing out my left arm. Now I'm going to blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too. Because these stupid people. I'll make you a deal. Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With it, these people are so stupid. And you know, the only thing I ask for, I don't care about lighting. I don't care about teleprompters, because I never read the damn things anyway. By the way, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a frickin' teleprompter? But I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. The only thing I ask for is a good mic. And this is the second time today that this happened. So now if I were the president, and you know, like a dopey guy like this Kelly, the guy's a total moron, and that happened, I'd fire him, and everybody would say, "Gee, I'm such a bad person." You're not bad. You fire people. For instance, the generals that destroyed us in Afghanistan, every one of them should have been fired. Should have been fired. Hello? Is that better? Is that better?
I know what he's going through better than anybody else, dude. There is nothing more annoying than audio issues in front of a fucking crowded arena, okay? This is, I feel like the experience that he's having right now is straight up one-to-one, like something that I can comprehend better than anybody else, okay?
That's terrible. Is that better back there? Is that yes or no? What crap. The only thing I ask for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic. And I went through 2 of these rallies today, and it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far, I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I saw, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. Way too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this, and did you notice? I was bending over like this. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with this?
Did I miss the glug glug? Hold up.
So I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem.
What is he doing? What the hell is going on, dude? What the hell is going on? What the hell? Sauceless? Has he lost it? Or does the sauce remain?
Wait!
How is it the worst rally? Your assessment went array? No, I hadn't seen it. I only saw clips of it, and I was like, I feel like he's losing it a little bit.
Too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse. And I walk in like this, and did you notice? I was bending over like this. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with it? They're saying, he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? What a shame. But we're gonna come back. I'm gonna give you a free performance back in that corner. You got a bad area back there. But I think this is better. I think it's probably better.
And to the Republican side now with former President Trump, who
There was the end of the rally that I thought was crazy. Also, Faker. Which 3 celebrities do you want to have a meal with? Song Heung-min, Woo Sung-hyuk, and Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud is that's why he's the president. That's why he's my president, okay? November surprise, Trump is by. That's not a surprise. Last YouGov/Times poll in battleground states, Arizona, Trump up by 1, Georgia, Trump up by 2, North Carolina, Trump up by 1, Nevada showing Harris +1, Pennsylvania, Harris +2, Michigan, Harris +2, Wisconsin, Harris +3. This is a lock for Harris to win. For the record, she just needs this. I mean, she needs this. And if this comes as well alongside it. And that is their pathway to victory. Just want to mention Trump called his employees stupid in front of a rally. Luckily, he didn't say garbage. I mean, Trump has called his own supporters garbage. Trump has called the cities that he's attended garbage. Trump has called Democrats garbage. Trump has said, Trump can say whatever he wants.
Yes, I win.
populist, right? He's the old.
Sorry, guys.
What you watching?
Alright, let's put this.
Directions in.
Okay, good. Oh, what door's open? This? Okay. So, right.
Socialist guy. So they were like, oh, I can't believe you have 3 houses, Bernie, you fake ass, you phony. It's like his retirement fund is marginal in comparison to like the average accountant. Okay? And people are losing their minds over it. As a matter of fact, even leftists do the same thing. Okay? Even leftists do it to other leftists. Think about it. Immediately someone was like, he's a Zionist. In terms of like Bernie Sanders' advocacy against Israel, he has literally gone above and beyond for the 800 years that he's been in Congress in terms of like trying to put enforcements on the weapons transfers to Israel before half of these fuckers that are, you know, angry at him. And I myself am critical of his position as well, for the record. But like, having said that, I'm also more understanding of you know, where he's at, okay, or where he's coming from. It's kind of crazy to just be like, this sucks, when you're thinking about a guy who was literally saying things that were completely considered unacceptable about Israel before you even developed consciousness, okay, like before you knew what Israel even was. So we do this. We also do this to ourselves. We think it's self-crit. We think it's you know, it's just a tendency that people have, you know? Yeah, Bernie brought up Gaza in the 2020 primary debates, unheard of. Bernie literally also straightforwardly said, I want to stop weapons transfers to Israel. I want to do conditional aid to Israel in 2016 and 2020. Think about that. And that's how it is. Some of these white leftists think they're third world mouse in the way they speak instead of actually doing proper analysis of the imperial core law. Exactly. So you watching the Ringer podcast takes makes me so happy. You've helped me pay my salary. What? Ringer podcast takes.
He pretends not to be, but I think he's an angry guy.
Dude, seeing Trump in a gamer chair gives me so much heart. It gives me so much joy. Like him just like going back and forth, side by side, just like, yes, he's angry. He's an angry little man. It's a false statement. Let's watch Patrick Bet David, and then we'll watch the video of Phoenix.
devices containing videos and/or other files depicting Diddy. But that witness would drop another bombshell, as he claims he was given 11 flash drives containing at least 8 sex tapes involving 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. Courtney Burgess told News Nation's Banfield on Thursday among the 8 celebrities who were Combs' alleged victims, about 2 to 3 appeared to be minors. Burgess told Ashley Banfield in an interview with his attorney Ariel Mitchell, every single celebrity appeared to be under the influence of the tapes and were seemingly victims, not perpetrators. Burgess told Ashley Banfield he was working in Atlanta when his former associate Kim Porter, the ex-girlfriend and mother of 4 of Diddy's children, shared the flash drives with him. Burgess claimed he also received an unedited manuscript from Porter's alleged memoir. The book, which was released on Amazon, titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side, was slammed by Porter's children, who called the claims in the book simply untrue. In a joint statement from Kim Porter's children, Quincy Brown, Christian, Delilah, and Jesse Combs, which was released in late September, they wrote in part, quote, claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not her friend, nor do they have her best interest at heart, end quote. As a federal grand jury continues to hear new evidence in the case against Sean, Burgess says he's no longer in possession of the tapes, but his attorney said the alleged tapes tell the story of what Diddy has done over the past 30 years. This isn't the first time we've heard about the alleged celebrity freak-out tapes. Mitchell previously said she was contacted about the sale of one of the tapes, but didn't reveal who was in the video, only saying it was someone high-profile who could be seen in the tape, but the tape was leaking around Hollywood.
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs. Really? Really? And you've seen it? I've seen stills of the video.
That alleged A-lister reportedly was horrified the footage was being shopped around. An insider told the New York Post the alleged video brought up really disturbing and bad memories for the unnamed celeb. While Combs sits in a jail cell awaiting trial, his attorneys have previously denied all allegations of wrongdoing. In a previous statement, his attorneys say in court prevailed that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or
I
woman.
already have to deal with it with my daily life.
Let's unpack the latest developments with trauma expert and author of Stolen Childhoods, Thriving After Abuse, Sherry Botman. Sherry, thank you so much for joining me today. Always great to see you. It feels like every week we're seeing new developments in this ongoing legal saga of Sean Combs, aka Diddy. Now this week, a grand jury witness said he has information and evidence of Combs victimizing celebrities. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction is this case is just getting worse and worse, and you know what? I'm not surprised at all. I was expecting weeks went by, more and more people are going to come forward, more books are going to be leaked. So while I think it's awful and horrific, I'm not surprised at all.
And this witness spoke with News Nation's Banfield this week. He says that he has sex tapes of 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. He said it appeared that they were under the influence while allegedly being victimized by Combs. I know when his arrest happened, many wanted to know who was next. Not at all.
Fucking tired, man.
Thinking of the possibility that other celebrities were also victimized allegedly by Combs. What are your thoughts on just this whole added layer to this case now?
I think he has so much power, or I should say he had so much power, that even people who are considered celebrities and had or have amazing careers, there's something about this particular man. He had so much stature in the music industry. So while it's really upsetting and maybe surprising to people, even celebrities, other people involved with Sean Combs, may have felt like they didn't have a choice, or this was something that they had to do in order to have their career be lifted up. And the other thing that we have to keep in mind is when people are under the influence, whether they were drinking and taking drugs on their own accord or things were being put into their drinks, people aren't going to make the same choices that they would make during the day in a regular day-to-day situation.
That's true.
And similar to the lawsuits that have been coming out recently, more people are coming forward claiming that they were minors when allegedly being assaulted by Combs. But now this witness says that he saw videos of at least 2 to 3 different celebrities who were allegedly underage at the time the video was taken. What are your thoughts just about essentially just the disturbing and horrific allegations that this witness claims that he has been seeing these underage celebrities also being victimized by Combs?
I have a couple thoughts. The first thought I have is how many witnesses are there or were there? Why didn't any of these witnesses who were adults try to do something? And then another part of me says they were witnesses, but if they had spoken, if they had said anything, the threats to their life or their lives could have shut them down. In terms of the minors, I'm not surprised because, again, if you think about it, a teenager or a young adult, 19 or 20, 18, 17, when they're at those ages, their careers are just starting. And what I'm thinking is they are probably looking at Sean Combs and idealizing him and thinking, well, if I do what he says or I give him what he wants, maybe I'll get what I want. And the other thing that we have to keep in mind with minors is they don't have the capacity to make the same choices that adults would make because they're not developmentally able to think about the long-term consequences. And one other thing that I'm thinking about some of these minors, we don't know what families they were coming from. Just because somebody is a celebrity or is very known in the public, we don't know what was going on in their family. So some of these celebrities were vulnerable, especially the minors. But you know, there's so many questions I have about all of the people involved in this latest. They know and what were they told? So, like you said, there's so many layers, and I think
Interesting point there where you were saying that these alleged victims that they may have been enamored by Combs, and it's interesting that you point that out because in some of these lawsuits where the alleged victims were minors at the time of this had happened, Combs allegedly told them, "You want to break into this industry, you do this for me or you do that for me," just exuding that power, but in exchange for, like the indictment says, to please his sexual desires. What do you make of just that power dynamic between a young person who, by all accounts, may have wanted to act, sing, dance, whatever it may be? Then they meet Sean Diddy Combs, and he allegedly says, "You need to do this in order for you to break into this industry or get to this place in your career." What are your thoughts on just that power dynamic that allegedly was exuded?
I mean, he definitely used his power to his advantage. And when you're young and you have dreams and you want to be successful, and someone like him is saying, in order to get what you want, you're going to need to do things that you may not want to do, they're going to believe him. They may think, well, I guess if that's what he says, then that's what we need to do. And while I think some of the minors may have questioned or thought in the back of their mind, this does not feel right at all, it wouldn't necessarily stop them from engaging in these types of acts. And I think that's one of the most enraging parts of this story is how manipulative and coercive people in power like Sean Combs. And again, there's so many stories right now that we're hearing about in the media where it's the same story over and over. If you want to be successful, if you want to get what you want, you may have to do things that you don't want to do. This is not a new story. This is just one of the stories that we're hearing about.
Yeah, and as a trauma expert, we did see the ramifications iterations of Me Too, and many celebrities particularly came forward when it was Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, and it was all in the headlines. But when it comes to Diddy, it seems that everything has been a lot more tight-lipped. Why do you think that is?
I think one of the reasons is because there's so many people involved. When you see images of these freak-offs, of these parties, of celebrities dressed in white, and you're seeing hundreds of people attend these parties, I think what happened in this story is that Sean Combs has so many people working on behalf of him. The amount of enablers, the amount of witnesses, all of these other stories, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, one of the differences was that, for instance, with Bill Cosby, he would invite women into his home. He would invite them one at a time. So there were no witnesses in the room. His wife might have been downstairs or his kids might have been home. But in this particular story with Sean Combs, there's so many people who have attended these parties. And I think one of the things that we're hearing, and I know we're going to find more out, is there's many, many people who I think knew something but either chose not to say anything or were told, if you speak up, you will be dead. That's one of the reasons why I think this story is coming out in 2024, which we're almost 8 years after #MeToo at this point.
Yeah, and I imagine a lot of celebrities have a lot of other things at stake as well too. You know, not just their reputation, but their brand, their image, their career as well too. So for someone who is in the public eye, in your opinion, what type of trauma do you think these celebrities have been experiencing, given that this industry, by all accounts, is just take, but then you have this black cloud in a way and potential shame kind of hanging over your head and embarrassment as well too, and that black cloud and shame possibly being an alleged sex tape of you that you didn't know was taken, and something may have happened to you against your will. What is it like potentially for these celebrities who are experiencing this trauma but then have to put on their face, their PR face, their brand face, and that typical image that we see of them in the magazines or on social media?
They're having to keep things a secret. They're having to live their life. And again, I don't think that it's new. I think for many of them, they probably have been struggling with this years before some of these stories come out. The amount of guilt, the fear, the conflict. I mean, again, when I talk to people in situations where they're forced to keep things secret, many of them end up being suicidal, developing addictions, having eating disorders. It wreaks so much havoc, and I think it's important to say to the public, as we start to find out more about these witnesses or these enablers, we can sit here and judge them and be angry at them and say, how could you not have said something? But unless you've lived in their shoes, you don't really know what that would be like for that person. And again, the other thing that we have to keep in mind is some of these people who've been walking around with such awful secrets, they may already have secrets from their past before they encountered some of these awful atrocities that were happening either to them, in front of them, or basically right next to them.
And something that I've been noticing, I think that many of our viewers as well have noticed too, is that we're seeing a lot more people who were not only just allegedly minors at the time that these incidents had occurred, but also we're seeing more men coming forward as well too. Talk to me about kind of the trauma that men experience from sexual abuse. Of course, one not wanting to talk about it until possibly later on, or maybe not even recognizing that something like this had happened to them. But as we're having more discussions of men who are also victims of sexual abuse, why, in your opinion, do you think but a lot of people To just dismiss it or not believe it.
I think it's easier to say, oh, that would never happen to a man. I think it's also easier to sort of typecast. Men are the abusers, women are the victims. That's not true. It's not like that at all. And the other thing to keep in mind with the Lyle and Aaron Menendez story and the statement that the prosecutor made back in the 80s where she says in a public courtroom, boys are not equipped to be raped. The truth is that's just not the case. And I think for men, what happens is the shame and the stigma and the fear that people are going to
Oh yeah, very shameful. It's very weird,
it
and
just makes it harder.
especially if it's
I've been working with survivors for
like a
almost
relative.
30 years, and I've seen just as many men as I have women who have very, very similar stories of being sexually assaulted,
Yeah,
abused
I
by
believe that.
men or women in power. I think right now times are changing and we're finally starting to believe anyone can be the victim of sexual assault. Male, female, it doesn't matter what your demographics are, it doesn't matter what your gender is. So I think the one positive thing that's coming out of this story, in addition to some of the other stories, right now we're hearing so many stories of celebrities in power who are being accused of raping men. So I feel like now is the time for men to come forward as well as women. And again, I would say that to any men, male, no matter what day or age we're in. But I feel like now there's more support for them to come forward because they know they're not the only ones. And I think that we are starting to understand and believe anybody who's vulnerable, anybody who's in a position where they're being threatened, could be the victim of these type of crimes. Male, female, it doesn't matter.
And in your opinion, do you think it's at all possible that any A-lister, B-lister, C-lister, D-lister celebrity will come forward to be like, you know what, it was me who was in this video. It was me who was abused by, allegedly by Sean Diddy Combs. Do you think that we'll see a turning point of celebrities coming forward to be like, this happened to me too?
I think it's definitely possible. And I think it's going to go like this. If there's one brave, what I would call warrior, who is a celebrity in one of these videos who comes forward, that's all that we need. Meaning, as soon as one person comes forward, then you open up the box and people start feeling more and more comfortable. So we'll have to just sort of sit and wait to see. But my feeling, my heart, and my, all the thoughts that I have for all of these people involved
did not expect that on my part to be shamed, especially by my own family.
We've got your back.
Doesn't
here.
happen.
You did the right thing.
Whatever.
You have
Life
some
is
celebrities
just
who
what it
have had that
is.
courage to come out so
A
far. Of course,
weird
that
mesh
means Jesse
of
Ventura,
fucking
and Don Richard as
atoms
well too. But as far as we know, Don Richard is
floating
not
around all over the place.
freak offs or sex tapes or anything like that. But Sherry, thank you so much for your time today and so much for your insight. Before we sign you off, anything else you would like to?
I always have something to say. And the thing that I'm thinking about for anybody out here involved in this case, if you are someone that has been abused by someone in a position of power, if you're one of the victims of Sean Combs, call somebody, ask for help. Don't feel like you have to come forward today if you're not ready to come forward. But I just really urge people to speak up and know that times are changing. And once you speak up and you let the secret out, then the healing begins. And there are a lot of people out here who really want to help, and we can't help if we don't know. So I'm really hoping that we're going to hear from a lot more people so that they can get the help, justice,
but not
and
like
the support that they so deserve.
over scary things.
Jerry
That
Butler,
I
thank you
thought.
again so much for your
I
time
didn't get
today.
anything from
Always great to see you and
It's
always
like
appreciate your
just
time.
steal it.
Thank you.
Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of sex trafficking,
I've always been really bad
and
at
transportation to engage in prostitution.
I have a
U.S. attorneys
terrible
denied
thing,
all allegations
but
of wrongdoing.
I get away
He's
with
expected
stuff.
to appear in court again next month, and his federal trial at this time is slated for May. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.
New allegations against Sean Combs, and these are some of the most horrific yet. A man says he was just 10 years old. The rapper allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted him during what was supposed to be an audition, sending him back to his parents crying and in pain. The latest lawsuits against the music mogul seem to reinforce previous claims made in both civil and criminal court, and we're going to break down these most recent allegations right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. Jesse Weather. On Monday, Texas attorney Tony Busby's law firm filed 2 new lawsuits in New York State Supreme Court, alleging that music superstar Sean Combs sexually assaulted 2 underage boys in the early 2000s, and one of them just 10 years old at the time. As if these allegations couldn't get worse. Now, we've been closely following the legal drama that's been stalking Sean Combs, and right now, as we know, he's locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn. He's been denied bond twice. His attorneys...
All right, guys. What is going on in this election? Kamala Harris takes the lead in the final weekend. What? Wait till you get a load of this. Kamala Harris now leading in Iowa. What the Jesus? Okay, so we'll break down all the polls for you guys. And I'm going to tell you the 2 key demographics that are helping Kamala Harris take the lead here, maybe win the election.
Oh, well,
This is
battery's
stunning.
getting dead.
I really
Thanks
can't
for joining
believe
me.
it.
Bye.
So